There's been a lot of discussion about Final Fantasy XVI on the internet since its release. While there have been quite a few videos trying to dissect and analyze the game's ending, there's one gigantic piece of the puzzle that for some reason nobody is talking about, and it's core to one of the game's major themes. Also, if you enjoy content like this, please be sure to check out my other Final Fantasy videos, like and subscribe. So when it comes to Final Fantasy XVI's ending, most of the discussion has revolved around the fates of Clive and Joshua, whether the two of them survived the final conflict, and what the disappearance of the Red Star Media means in terms of story symbolism. While these elements are all worthy of discussion, the thing I find most interesting in the ending is contained within the epilogue scene. In the epilogue, we see a family living a simple life in the woods. When one of the young boys tries to light a fire, we see he has to use flint as opposed to a crystal of fire. Now that all magic has been eliminated from the world, humans can no longer rely on the conveniences of the crystals in order to survive. I found it odd that the scene hasn't sparked, pun intended, more discussion because of how clearly this leads to the game's final statement on one of its major themes: environmentalism. In the world of Final Fantasy XVI, magic is clearly a stand-in and metaphor for technology. And the same way that we would use modern technological conveniences is the way that the people in Final Fantasy XVI's world use magic crystals. However, it's clear that the overuse of crystals comes at a cost, as they literally drain the life and color of the planet, slowly killing it, much in the same way our real-world reliance on fossil fuels damages the planet. In Final Fantasy XVI, our heroes decide to destroy the crystals and act as eco-terrorists to save the world, in a clever callback to Final Fantasy VII, but in doing so they face the weight of their actions' consequences, as destroying technology people rely on for day-to-day life does cause immediate harm in the short term, and those consequences are felt across the planet. The game is, in my opinion, very on the nose with its environmentalist message, and I'm honestly surprised more people aren't talking about it when analyzing the game's themes, as one could argue it's the core thematic message of the entire narrative. When looking at the epilogue scene, we are able to see what life is like after the full transition from magic has been made, and while it does show that there are some sacrifices in luxuries and conveniences, people are still able to live happy and fulfilling lives. More importantly, the planet, and thus life itself, is able to survive. If we look at this ending as a metaphor for the real world, with magic being a stand-in for technology, it's clear what message the devs are trying to convey. Yes, we might need to make some sacrifices of some modern luxuries and conveniences, but it may be what is necessary to save the planet, and it's better to do that than to have no planet at all. Obviously, there are some cultural differences to consider, as Japan has far greater skepticism towards nuclear technology than the West does, and a lot of the planetary destruction caused by the icons and the crystals can be better related to nuclear fallout. But the general message of the metaphor still stands. Is there a point of irony in delivering this message on the PlayStation 5, one of the highest-end pieces of commercial technology available as a luxury? Yes. Is it even the right message about environmentalism to send, as the vast majority of pollutants come not from individuals, but large organizations, like militaries and corporations? Still, despite some flaws, I do applaud CBU3 for boldly ending their game with such a strong environmentalist message, especially in regards to the statement of sacrificing luxury for the greater good of the planet being a worthwhile cost. It is a bold choice, and it's one I greatly respect. Final Fantasy games have never been afraid to be political, and I'm glad to see that tradition still stands. What do you think? Do you think people are sleeping on Final Fantasy XVI's environmentalist themes, or am I reading too much into this? Comment your thoughts on the ending below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Have a good one, folks.